Welcome to the Eat Better, Move Better, Live Better podcast presented by Flourish with Tracy, where we'll dive into the realms of holistic wellness, plant-based nutrition, yoga, and self-care to help you live your best life. Tune in every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern for our special segments. Meditation Monday. Start your week with mindfulness. Wellness Wednesdays. Get the midweek boost you need. Sadhana Saturdays. Dedicate weekends to personal growth. Join us as we explore and discuss all things to eat better, move better, and live better. Welcome. Today, I'd like to introduce you to part one of a three-part series designed to help us rethink one of the most common beliefs about our personal growth, that the moment we become aware of something, we must immediately change it. Many of us think that our wellness is about constantly improving ourselves. When we notice a habit, we try to break it. And sometimes this leaves us feeling discouraged, overwhelmed, or as if we're always falling short of some imaginary goal. Real and lasting awareness doesn't begin with perfection. It begins with noticing. Many of us have been taught that if we notice something about ourselves, whether it's a habit, an emotion, a behavior, or even a physical symptom, that we must immediately fix it. We notice stress, and we think we should stop being stressed. We notice we're tired, and we tell ourselves we should have more energy. We notice we're impatient, and we decide that we need to immediately become more patient. Today we're going to talk about the power of noticing and why you don't have to change everything today. It's almost as if our awareness comes with an invisible assignment. We notice it, fix it, we improve it, and we move on. But what if awareness itself has a value? What if simply noticing is not a sign that you've fallen behind, but it's evidence that you are waking up, to give yourself permission to observe without immediately trying to correct or fix it? Sustainable wellness rarely begins with fixing ourselves. It begins with understanding ourselves. So I'd like to ask you a question. Think quietly to yourself. When was the last time you noticed something about yourself and immediately judged it? Maybe you thought, I shouldn't feel this way, or I need to stop doing this. Why am I like this? I have to do better. Or I should know better. Notice how quickly awareness becomes criticism. We don't simply notice. We evaluate, we label, we compare, we pressure ourselves. Why do we feel pressure to change immediately? Because all of the messages around us encourage us to do so. Immediate action, improve yourself, optimize your routine, increase your productivity, fix your mindset, become your best self. Constant self-improvement can accidentally communicate something else, and your subtle body is listening. What it's saying is who you are right now isn't enough. And that becomes a heavy burden to carry. And eventually we begin to treat ourselves like projects or tasks instead of the human being that we actually are. It's not your fault. We live in a fix-it culture. Our culture loves solutions. If you're tired, here's a supplement you can take. If you're anxious, here's a strategy. If you're overwhelmed, download this app. And none of these are inherently bad for you. Many are genuinely helpful. The problem is believing that every uncomfortable experience requires immediate correction in some sort of external tool. Sometimes just being aware is the work itself, without any need for any external tools. Here's an example. If you were learning how to ride a bike, first you're simply noticing. You're looking at the bike, you're noticing where the pedals may be. When you put your foot on the pedal, how much pressure is too much? How close are you to the curb? What's the correct positioning for your hands? And you are expected to be perfect the first day you get on the bike to learn how to ride it. You're building awareness. This process is the same for your emotional wellness. You cannot shift or change or alter what you haven't learned to notice or recognize. Awareness is not about delaying change. It's about preparing for change. So what does it mean to notice? Noticing is paying attention with curiosity rather than criticism. It's observing what is happening without immediately deciding whether it's good or bad. Notice the difference between these two statements. I keep getting frustrated during meetings. I shouldn't get frustrated during meetings. Notice that the first statement is an observation. I keep getting frustrated during meetings. And the second statement is a judgment. I shouldn't get frustrated during meetings. One creates information. The other creates shame. When you observe, you're giving yourself data. You can ask questions. What happened? When did it happen? What came before it? What happened afterward? What patterns do I notice? These types of questions in any situation is what a healthy awareness looks like. When you become curious instead of critical, something remarkable happens. Your nervous system stays calmer. Your mind becomes more open. And instead of defending yourself, you begin to understand yourself. Curiosity will ask, I wonder why. And judgment will say, I already know. Curiosity allows you to be able to continue to grow and learn. The issue is that we skip this step because answers to those questions may lead us to become emotional or experience discomfort. So instead, we tend to rush towards solutions without fully understanding what it is that we're actually trying to solve. Sometimes we end up just treating the symptoms instead of the actual cause. And sometimes we're just trying to avoid or eliminate emotions that sometimes carry that important data or information that we need to move forward. Here's an example. Let's look at feeling irritable. You've noticed that you've become unusually irritated. You feel irritable. And you've been growing in this irritation. And you may immediately think, I need to be more nice. I need to be nicer. But what if you notice this just a little bit longer? You may discover the root cause of your irritation. Perhaps you only slept 5 hours last night. Perhaps you skipped lunch 3 days in a row. Perhaps you're overworking because you're carrying someone else's workload. Perhaps you didn't have any time for just peace and quiet. So if you look at it from that perspective and that drill down, you realize that the irritability wasn't the problem. It's not the issue. The irritation and irritability is the messenger. But if you rush to silence the messenger, you might have missed the message. Message that you needed to take some time for yourself. Your body will notice before your mind. Your body will physically reflect what is happening. For example, if you are stressed, your shoulders may tighten, your jaw may clench, your breathing may become a little more shallow, perhaps your stomach's upset, you're not sleeping. Your body's always communicating. When you notice these physical changes, you'll then be able to hear the message. So I'd like you to think about it. What has your body been trying to tell you recently? Not what you think you should do about it, but what have you noticed? Perhaps it's fatigue, tension, headaches or restlessness, change in blood pressure, needing to be a little more quiet. Just notice. And whatever you've noticed, begin to identify what could possibly be the root cause. You're obtaining the data, you're obtaining the information, you're gathering the wisdom. You are providing the opportunity to nurture and care and address your root cause. You're extending yourself patience and understanding. You're increasing your awareness. When you are aware, you create choice for yourself. We don't even realize it, but we actually run our day on autopilot. We wake up, we may check messages, we may rush or skip a breakfast. We're reacting to notifications and emails. We just eat our food without even tasting it. We're just wolfing or scarfing it down. We may drive without remembering the trip that we took to get to our destination. We respond immediately before we even think about the answer. Awareness will stop the autopilot. It creates that small space between what happens and what we choose to do next. That small space of awareness is valuable because when you take that time to pause, you provide an opportunity to make a choice. The choice to take a breath, to notice, and to determine if your body is sending messages that you need to collect the data on and make a choice later on, not necessarily right now. You can practice noticing in small increments and then build to noticing situations that you're in. Begin with your breathing. Just notice the breathing. How are you breathing right at this moment? Don't change it. Just notice. Notice where your body comes in contact with a chair or surface beneath you. Notice any sounds around you. Notice any emotions. Notice any thoughts that come or go. Notice areas of ease or tension. Just simply observe and notice without labeling them. How did noticing feel? Many realize that the moment they stop trying to immediately fix or change, they begin to understand things about themselves that they may not have noticed before. Awareness is not passive. Awareness is participation. When you notice your thoughts, your emotions and your habits, or your physical sensations, you become an active participant in your own well-being. You don't have to solve everything the moment you become aware of it. Sometimes the healthiest thing you can do in any situation is to simply notice. Because when we notice consistently, we begin to understand. We begin to see ourselves with compassion. And that way, the changes or shifts we make will be in ways that will truly last. In part 2 of the power of noticing, we'll talk about choosing curiosity over judgment. Thank you for sharing time and space today. Thanks for tuning in. I hope today's insights help you on a personal journey towards a healthier, happier life. Don't forget to join every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern for more self-care and holistic wellness tips. Before you go, make sure to comment, click the bell, like, and subscribe buttons for upcoming episode notifications. Be sure to always consult a medical professional before making any major changes regarding your health, diet, or routine. In the meanwhile, stay motivated, stay inspired, and remember, every step you take is one step closer to a better you. Until next time, keep flourishing, and as always, may all be well.